When should artists start using NFTs? And what should they offer along with the NFTs? What's going on, y'all? Chris G and my bro Greg Rollett back with another episode of the NIFTY Music Show. Greg, what's up, man?
Oh, dude, I am like so excited to talk about this today and hang out with you and catch up and help some folks out today.
Yeah, absolutely. So NFTs, it's the big talk about town, right? There's an article out right now that crypto, yeah, sure, it has been down for the last 2 weeks, but NFTs are exploding, and everyone and their mother wants to release an NFT. Um, all kinds of brands want to put out an NFT. Artists want to put out NFTs, but what should they offer with NFTs? Like, what makes them actually valuable?
Yeah, and I think even bigger than that is like, why are you wanting to release an NFT? Right? Like,
Mhm.
there's so much bandwagon, flavor of the month, tactic of the month, kind of thing. And is that the real reason that you should maybe switch your focus, switch your attention to NFTs? Do you have an actual strategy for this?
Mhm.
Do you have, in crypto world, like a roadmap? Or is it just like, hey, let's just release, 500 of our singles as an NFT and let's cash grab and let's get out? And I'm not here to say one is wrong, one is right. Like, you have
Right.
to figure out where your own moral line is. But I think most musicians who are thinking about this right now are thinking about like, hey, this could be a way that either we can go viral, if
Mhm.
it crosses over and we can, or we can make some quick cash. And I don't think either of those are the right reason to do it. I think
Mhm.
both are
Sure.
like halo effects, secondary, second order effects, but that shouldn't be the principal reason. So when I think about it, I think about like, why are we doing this? And then how can we build a strategy to support the why?
Mhm.
Um, and then we can think about all the cool tech and what chain and
Right.
what should the art be and all that. But if it's taking away from what you're really trying to do as a musician, if you don't even have a fan base yet,
Right.
right? Like, there's still foundational building blocks that you need to do that is going to make the NFT project successful, but it would also be reasons to have an NFT. So, I'd love to, again, just piggybacking off that, like, just to hear your thoughts,
Mhm.
before we even get into like all the fun stuff, right? But like, I believe there's got to be a reason why, right?
Absolutely, for sure. I mean, and some artists might see you see all these headlines of artists making all this money releasing NFTs, like Blau's NFT being worth $6 million, and they think it's an easy way to make some money. But if every artist starts jumping on it, and I mean, and they are, it's very quickly going to become like the free download, right? So we
Yeah,
in marketing world we talk about the opt-in offer a lot, like how do we get someone's email address or their phone number, and it's like what can you give them for free? And the free download doesn't work. I mean, if you have this endless amounts of music on Spotify, Apple Music, on YouTube. Like, people don't want your free music download, and they also are not going to want your NFT that is just a song.
right.
So you have to have a strategy, as you mentioned. You have to have a vision, and I feel like it needs to be integrated with in the entire brand, right? So if you think about your customer journey, it's almost like when your customer journey or your funnel, whatever, but it's almost like almost like a I don't know, like a film or an envelope around the funnel or around the journey. It has to be part of the overall brand and the overall vision for it to actually
Yeah.
have potential to be successful.
Yeah, and what we've seen with, I know we've talked about a few of the artists like launching these, like Blau, like Nas, Shinoda, like some of these people.
Mhm.
Is they all have existing fan bases, and
Yes.
the NFTs that they've launched haven't been bought by brand new fans discovering Nas. They've been bought by fans who've been listening to him for 20 years, right? Shinoda sold his out from Linkin Park fans that have been following him for the last decade, 2 decades.
Mhm.
And so a lot of the NFTs that have now, are there outliers? 100%. That
Sure.
always
Yeah.
happens. But a lot of discovery isn't happening because someone bought your NFT, because it's
Right.
hard to get somebody to, again, like you said, I can get your track for free on Spotify or Apple Music or, wherever I'm getting my music. Why am I now going to pay 10, 20, $30 in whatever crypto coin to get a song that I could have just listened to on Spotify for free if I'm also not a diehard fan of your music? And so, again, go back to the roadmap, go back to the strategy.
Mhm.
And just even bigger than NFTs is like, what are we trying to accomplish with your band this year? Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's no different than a
Yeah.
business. You and I were just joking, like, my kids play sports, and it's like, what's your goal for the year? What's your goal for the quarter? What's your
Mhm.
goal for this next period? Is it to get the recordings done? Is it, are you in a monetization phase? Are you in an audience building phase? Did you already, record the music and now you're trying to get it out? It's a distribution, and like, you got to figure out where you are
Mhm.
on that map. And then, yes, if the music's been out, the music's been good, you've been building that fan base, you can feel this hype and this buzz around you. And then you say, you know what, we should capitalize on this and we should reward our top fans by creating this NFT that's going to build in value over time. And then the second other strategy, I think, where NFTs could really play a big role is in almost like a crowdfunding Kickstarter type role, where you're using the NFT to raise money to fund the recording, to fund, whatever that is. And there's perks and value, which I know we're going to talk about along the way. So those are kind of the two roadmaps I see, is like, we want to reward our fans and give them so much value for being fans and get the upside of our music, or let's crowdfund and kickstart our music. What do you think about those two? And then maybe, like, do you have any other like use cases beyond those?
Sure. I mean, so many good things that you said there. So first thing you said, what really stands out, I think I want to highlight, is the fan base, right? So what I always want to try to also reassure people, because it gets daunting. Like, oh, right, how many fans do I need? Do I need thousands? Do I need hundreds of thousands? Do I need millions? And the great thing about today's world, you just need a couple of hundred really loyal and really committed fans, right? I think the whole Kevin Kelly, like, 1,000 true fans, is a great example of how you can actually make money as an artist, but it doesn't really need to take 1,000 anymore these days. I mean, there's creators on Twitch that are making $50,000 a year with just 200 active users. So even with NFT world, I mean, if you had a Patreon, let's say, and that was $10 a month, and you had 200 people signed up, that's $2,000 a month on Patreon, right? So there's so many ways these days to make money as an artist and as a creator with a smaller fan base, and then you can focus on quality fans. So I think build a loyal fan base, build a couple hundred people that would buy a ticket to come out to a show, would buy an album, would buy a download, would buy a piece of merch, and then figure out something you can launch as an NFT that builds community now with your fan base. Like, one of the coolest things I've heard, I think it was the Social Media Examiner. They have this really big, like, conference they do every year, and Michael Stelzner is like the main host. And the funny thing he's heard is, like, people don't go to that to see Michael Stelzner. They go to see the other people that are in the same community, right? So sure, they might go to your concert to see you perform live, but maybe now, because of the community you've created, they're excited to go meet this new friend that they made. They're going to go have dinner before the show. Then they go to the show. They're going to sing together. They're going to laugh together. They're going to cry together. And then they're going to go have drinks afterwards, right? So that's what you got to think about creating. Like, how do you take your fan base and create a real community around it? And I think NFTs have a lot of potential to do that. So it's all about the type of value that you create with the NFT.
Yeah, I think to me, NFTs they're a product in your product line, right? Like, you have, you do a concert and you have merch, you have the t-shirt, the hoodie, the hat, the sticker, the button, the album, the vinyl, all the different things you have, live shows that you're doing. And NFT is just another product, right? And two things is, the product's got to be good, or else people don't buy it, right? And then how are you going to support that product? Because, if you just sell someone a t-shirt, it's just a t-shirt. They go home with it, they wear it, all good. But with NFTs, there's ongoing support. You have to think about, in the marketing world, we call this a tail, right? Is that you've gotten paid for something, but you have to continue to deliver it way after you got paid for it.
Right.
And so, you think about, like, what's the tail? Are we going to be offering long-term access to things? Is this or was this just a one and done and now we're out? And, I bought some like that. I know you have as well, that, like, you feel kind of let down. Like, hey, sure, I wanted to support you. I spent, good money on this, whether it be $20 or $200 or $2,000, whatever the number is. And then you're just like, the artist didn't even support this after this. The artist isn't even in the Discord. I feel gypped. Do you want your fans to feel like that? Because then will the fans come back and support you? Or are you the band that cried wolf? And, it was just all hype, cash grab. You're going to lose fans because of that. Again, with a t-shirt, the support is like, did we make a quality t-shirt? Am I going to wash it one time and it's going to, just break into pieces? But with an NFT, you got to think about that. Like, we got the pre-launch, we got the launch, and we have post-launch. And so, how are you willing to support that product long-term, and what value are you going to add? I think that's the big piece of it. I know this is something that you talk to artists about all the time, is the value piece of it. I'm not going to go spend, whether it's a Tezo, whether it's an ETH, whether it's like whatever coin it is, $30 on an MP3. Right. And so let's talk about the value side of it, because that's, to me just so important. How are you going to, give back to the community that's supporting you and allowing you to, make money off of your music and your art?
Absolutely. The value part of it is the most important part. And as you mentioned, right, you don't want to buy something and then be let down because it's just was just a quick cash grab. And with the quick cash grab thing, what people need to keep in mind is you got to focus on the long-term game, not short-term. Like, sure, there's so many different ways you can have a quick cash grab, but is it going to help you and your career in the next 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, right? Hopefully we take care of ourselves, we're healthy. And most of us, even if we're even fairly unhealthy, we're going to probably live to 65, 75 years old. So if an artist, is in their 20s and their 30s, what are you going to do for the next 40, 50 years of your life? Like, sure, you make a quick buck today, but that money might be gone in a year from now. So how can you add actual value to your NFTs? And exclusivity, rarity is something that really can add value. But what else comes along with it besides just the song? What else do they have access to? And maybe it includes a membership to something, and maybe those memberships are limited, right? Kevin Rose, who we both listen to, he talks about this all the time. He launched an NFT that's a membership, and there's so many stories of NFTs that are memberships to like a wine club or something, and there's only a certain amount that are available, and that's it, right? And then once someone doesn't want the membership anymore, now they can sell it. And let's say the membership was $100, and now they might sell it to someone for 500 because you continue to build value over time. So how do you continue to make it more and more valuable? Because that's the only way that your NFT is going to be flipped, and you get that commission off of those flips, and they'll get flipped over and over again if you continue to add value to that.
Yeah, I think that's so. Again, for musicians who are just kind of listening and getting their feet wet, like, you make money in two ways through NFTs, right? The initial sale, right,
Mhm.
where you're getting pretty much 100% of the revenue minus any fees, things like that, and then there's the resale, right,
Right.
and the long term royalties that you get, and that's ultimately what I think that we should be looking at, and that's what Chris was
Mhm.
just saying is like, how can this NFT drop that we're doing now, not just support us for quick for right now in the initial launch, but people want to be in this group so much that it's going to raise the floor price,
Yeah.
that people don't even want to sell it, right?
Right.
They want to be a part of it, but then those who do, other people are fighting to get in, right? It's the velvet rope that I
Yeah.
can't get to the velvet rope because all 500 of these have been sold, or 5,000 have been sold, and I need to get in, right?
Yeah.
And so you want to create that now. And then kind of just now thinking about like product, this is something I've thought a lot about, is like, a lot of artists lately have been doing just one song as like the NFT,
Right.
right? Like, or an EP or whatever it is. And I saw this from someone that we both read a lot of his books, Joe Polizzi, and he
Oh,
just
yeah.
sold like a lifetime access coin,
Mhm.
right? Which gets you a ticket
The
to his live
Tilt's
event.
coin.
Yeah, as long as he's producing live events, you get a ticket into that event. And then
Mhm.
of course you can then resell that because there's real value, because you could buy a ticket for $1,000 to his conference. Or if you hold this coin, maybe you spend 2,000 on it or 3,000 on it,
Right.
and you can go to these shows over and over and over again. And there might be like, maybe I'm no longer working in content marketing and I don't need this coin, so I can go sell it, and there's value for someone else to get in. And so
Mhm.
I've thought about this for like musicians, is like creating like this lifetime access club,
Yeah.
or maybe it's just for a year, right? It's the 2020, it's the 2021, so 2022, Greg Rollett coin, and this is going to get you access for like an entire year. So you're just selling like an annual membership,
Mhm.
and they get backstage access to everything you do just for this year.
Right.
And then it could be resold, because the only way to get access to those videos that you created in the live streams and the yada yada is you got to have access to this coin. So if you blow up 3 years from now, maybe those NFTs are worth a lot because people want to go see the archives and they want to go see, so there could be a yearbook, there could be, this lifetime access pass, there could be, but now we're investing in our fans
Mhm.
today who are supporting us, and we're investing in the future of us. And again, this isn't right for everyone, but it's just, what I want you to do is just change the way you're thinking about NFTs, and change the
Mhm.
way, not just NFTs, but change the way you're thinking about your music career,
Mhm.
so that you're playing the long game. And yes, look, I was that starving musician who, like, I needed the $20 we were making that night to buy, a slice of pizza because I didn't eat dinner, right? I've
Right.
been that guy. Chris and I have been that guy together,
Yeah.
roaming the streets of a weird
Good
town,
old days.
after a show. So I get the idea that, like, hey, like, $5,000 would change my life. $10,000 would, like, I've been there.
Right.
Um, but I don't want to make you to make short-term, plays that are going to sacrifice your ability to keep that fan long term, because I know in those early days, every fan counts. And
Yeah,
if you
for sure.
disappoint a fan, if you let them down, if you disappoint them in some way, you're losing your fan base because you wanted to make 20 bucks,
Mhm.
right?
It's funny when you mentioned that getting the food, the
The
pizza.
2 a.m. pizza and pita pits of the world, you know?
I immediately have visions of Lakeland for some reason and Lillian's. But one other thing too with the value side, right? So it's the value starts with the free stuff they put out, like whatever you're putting out on Spotify, YouTube, on Instagram, wherever you hang out on social media. And you don't have to be on all platforms, right? Master one or two platforms and figure out how you can add a lot of free value to that. And a quote that I love is from Amy Porterfield. She always says, make the free stuff so valuable that people, your fans, will think, man, if they do this for free, what does the paid stuff look like? Like, make them so curious about the paid stuff because the free stuff is so great and valuable. And then the other thing, so you mentioned Joe Polizzi. So I meant to go there and turn this whole conversation on its head. So maybe instead of NFTs, maybe you can create your own cryptocurrency, right? But if you actually make it part of your whole community and your whole mission, your vision, the NFTs can be dropped to people that own your crypto. So there's a really cool, and you have to have an application, it's an application process. But Joe Polizzi uses Rally Coin to create Tilt Coin, and I didn't know. I was actually curious about this if they actually can gain or lose value. So I think his Tilt Coin started at 30 cents a coin, and if you signed up for his email list, you got some Tilt Coin. If you shared his email, you got some Tilt Coin. If you shared his social media posts, you got some Tilt Coin. There's so many ways to earn Tilt Coin, and you can also buy it, and you can exchange that for books, for conferences, and all kinds of things. And that Tilt Coin that was just 30 cents when he first launched is now worth over $30. So
Wow.
all the people that got a bunch of Tilt Coin when they first signed up, now they have a few $100 or a few $1,000 from collecting these coins. And maybe this would be a fun episode to do a deep dive on next week, unless there's like some cool news that comes out. But he talked about Portugal the Man. They're also on Rally Coin, and they use it really, really well. So what I want to do the next week is really dive in to see what Joe Polizzi does with Tilcoin, see what Portugal the Man does. I think it's PTM coin that they have, and really figure out how to make that maybe something that could be more valuable to your fan base than an NFT. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, I think that's great because now you're again, these fans are now investing in you via your
Mhm.
coin, right? And if they get in early, obviously they get your coin at a discount as to what it's going to be in the future. And if you make it, at 30 cents a coin, if I buy 100 coins for 30 bucks, right?
Mhm.
I'm not going to the poorhouse, right? Like
Right.
I'm not going to go bankrupt. I'm not going to be able to, I'm not going to miss mortgage this month. My
Right.
kids aren't going to starve, but it's a way for me to support someone like Joe in this case
Mhm.
and believe that, in the future, this is going to go up. And now I'm, as a fan, it also incentivized to help the coin go up in value. So I'm going to share
Yeah,
more of Joe's content, more of his
for sure.
music, more of this. And then as a reward, yeah, you can drop me a new NFT of your new single, or in Joe's
Right.
case, maybe it's a new white paper or
Right.
research before it comes out. Maybe I get, as a musician, maybe it's I get invited to a special live stream that only
Mhm.
Tiltcoin holders can have.
Yeah.
Dropping me an NFT of a really cool graphic of your lyrics for one of your songs. Like there's so much you can do with that. And now you're letting your fans invest into you as a band and as an artist, and they're almost incentivized to help that stock go up,
Mhm.
right? Like think like
Absolutely.
you're on the board now, right? Like you own stock, like you're a part owner of this
Yeah.
band, and the more that band becomes popular, the more that coin's going to be worth, and that's good for everybody. And so that's a really, really interesting idea. And again, the cool thing about this is there's no right way or wrong way to do any of this.
No.
Right? Like whether you do a coin, whether you do an NFT drop, whether you say, I don't want to do any of this Web3 stuff and
Yeah.
I just want to go tour old school and like sell CDs, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I think it goes back to like, what do you want to accomplish as a band or
Mhm.
as an artist today? And what do you need to do over the next 30, 60, 90 days, 6 months, 12 months to start to make that a reality? Because some of you, like, a coin, you're like, man, this sounds like such a great idea, but you've got like 7 monthly plays on Spotify, right?
Right.
Like you need to increase that, build that fan base, build the desire before you can, like, you got to figure out where you are on that ladder and then act accordingly. And again, I think there's no right or wrong answer, right,
Right.
to this. And that's, I think, the cool thing about like a show like this is like we're just dropping ideas and
Yeah.
and helping you to think differently about your music career. but again, it's your career. You get to, the cool thing is, as an artist, like that's the best thing, is like we have creative freedom to do what we want.
Yeah.
We don't need a record label to do an NFT drop for us. We could do it ourselves. We don't need a record label to put our music on Spotify and Apple these days.
Right.
We could do it ourselves. So the power is in our hand. How creative are you going to get? What's going to make you unique? What's going to make your community unique? How are you going to take care of the people, the fans that take care of you? The power and the control, you have it now, but you have to take the action to make it become a reality, because no one's going to do it for you. And I think these artists that have been like the Blau, like he took the power into his own hands and said, you know what? I've got an active fan base. I'm starting to build some momentum. I'm going to do something cool to reward them, and I'm going to get rewarded for it. And so what's the old Zig Ziglar quote? You get anything that you want in life by helping enough people get what they want in life. And as a musician, as an artist, people want connection. They want to feel better. There's an emotional side of it. And if you can help supply that for them, you get what you want because you helped other people get what they want. And so, yeah, man, like that, this is such a fun world because it's all, there's so many possibilities, but it's up to you. Like Jack Canfield said, like, you know, you have to take 100% responsibility for yourself and for your future. Like you do as a musician today. You have unlimited channels, unlimited opportunities. It's up to you to grab 1, 2, 10, 20 of them and bring it to life, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think we definitely got the wheels turning today, and you know the big, I guess, takeaway is have a strategy, have a plan, map it out. You know, treat it like a real business. And the exciting thing too is there's so many different ways, right? Especially with Web3 now, there's already been so many ways to make a living as a musician. We've highlighted so many amazing stories on the podcast, like live streamers, to people doing house concerts, to people doing music licensing. Right now, this Web3 world creates even more opportunities. So figure out what's authentic to you, what is your lane to you want to live in, have it mapped out. And you know, if you want to make a living as a musician, the opportunities are there, and take them. And Rick Barker says this really cool quote. I don't know, we talk about Rick Barker a lot, but he always says, if you want to be famous, I can't help you. But if you want to make a living being a musician, there's many ways I can help you, right? So if you want to be famous and you want to chase the fame machine, go for it. You know, Rihanna had a multi-platinum album selling out arenas and stadiums and filed for bankruptcy. And it wasn't until she chose herself and became an entrepreneur when she became a billionaire. And she never gave up. So that's the great thing about Rihanna. But she was flat broke, filing for bankruptcy. So that's where major labels can lead you to if you don't end up choosing, you know, not to take James Altucher quote away, but if you don't choose yourself and figure out a way to how to make a living in this industry. Anyways, we could probably talk forever. I know we have to get to our lives. Greg, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you and connect with you?
Yeah, at Greg Rollett on Twitter is probably the best spot right now. Just loving having conversations there. So reach out anytime. And, you know, I think, again, we say this every week, but if you're listening to this as an audio podcast, screenshot this, share this on Instagram, share this somewhere, you know, share it with a musician who needs to hear it. If it's on YouTube, you know, hit that like and subscribe button, and leave a comment, because, you know, Chris and I are in there. We're checking them out. I think, you know, we want to incite something inside of you that like stirs something up, right? So go ahead and leave us a comment there, and you know, let's have a really cool conversation together.
Absolutely, yeah. And as I always say, go spread love, positivity, and kindness in the world, and live the life you love. Peace, my friends.
Peace out.
Live the life you love.